What's up, guys and gals? It's your host of the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest piece of One Piece. Chapter 1093, entitled Luffy vs. Kizaru. And that title is, sorta accurate, but realistically, both of them are sorta playing around. Luffy has gone gear 5th and is doing the whole bug out eyes, Bugs Bunny, the mask, what? Stuff. He's doing his toony little, fun right now with his you know. So Luffy's not, I'm gonna argue, taking this fully seriously yet. When he goes into Toon Force, when he goes into gear 5th, he sort of acts a little more like, so long me Bowser, sort of idea, which is what he basically does here to Kizaru. And Kizaru is sort of, well, this is unfortunate, that's a shame, yeah, oh, I'm about to head into the sea, I don't want to do that. You know, so both of them are being, is lazy the right word? I don't know. But if you saw a chapter title called Luffy vs. Kizaru, this is not what you would expect. I'm sorry, that the title's a little misleading. We don't really get to see either one of them doing any real damage to each other. You know, it's still, you know, the power scaling community is just going to must be boiling over right now, is all I can imagine, because we aren't really seeing a full out, alright, I'm fighting you, you're fighting me sort of idea. It's more of a, we gotta go, we gotta run. It's a whole cake Big Mom situation right now, right? We're not really seeing Big Mom fighting anybody 1v1. What we're seeing is them just trying to hold her off while they escape. And it's the same thing here. Luffy's like, no, I don't have time to deal with you, Kizaru, and sort of, and childishly like trying to, hey, look at me, I'm right here, Kizaru, I'm right here. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not really here to fight you. I'm here to go after Vega Punk. So, hi, Usopp, you know what I mean? Like, so Kizaru's doing that stuff. So the chapter title, I would argue, is misleading. That's a little bit misleading, because we're seeing them play with each other, but it's more they're beating around the bush around each other. Luffy's like, hey, get back here, and Kizaru's like, no, I don't think I will. My objective isn't to fight you right now. So, then of course we get the Zoro stuff. The Zoro stuff isn't too bad, because once again, this chapter is very simple, realistically. They're still trying to escape Egghead. Lucci's still fighting Zoro. Kizaru and Luffy are still fighting. Jewelry Bonnie's alive. I didn't think anybody thought she was dead. And the Vega Punks are being the Vega Punks. Like, nothing really, it's still the same. Like, things happen, but it's still the same. Gotta get away from Egghead. Gotta get away from Egghead. It's no different from, we gotta get away from Whole Cake. We gotta get away from Whole Cake, right? Each chapter sort of blends into the other chapter, and because it's one chase. It's one objective. It's one thing. A bunch of stuff going on, but the same stuff each week. Right? So I don't really have much to add. It wasn't really a bad chapter. It's just okay, once again, the chapter was a little misleading. When I heard the chapter title, because sometimes I get spoiled on the chapter title, I don't really get the images and stuff, but I do get the chapter title sometimes a little early, just on certain Discords and blogs and stuff that I'm on. And when I heard Luffy vs. Kizaru, I was like, alright, what's going to happen here? Are we actually going to see some stuff? And yes, they do fight, but, you know, Kizaru's not, as I said, I've already gone down that road and stuff like that, so it's fine. I'm hoping we eventually get to see them actually fight. Somebody draws blood from somebody, but I don't know at this point. Now, Zoro was holding back Lucci, and this is awesome, because Zoro is basically like, Luffy's like, whoa, Zoro, you're fighting too? That's awesome. He's like, Luffy, get back up there and deal with Kizaru. I'm dealing with this right now. Just go do your job, for God's sakes. Luffy's like, you're right, Zoro, I'll see you later. Have fun. You know, Luffy is very Goku right now with Vegeta. It's like, hey, Jeets, how you doing? Fuck off, Kakarot, I got shit to do. Alright, you have fun, best buddy. You know, that's what Luffy's basically doing with Zoro right now. And it's good. It's good. I like it. Because, and Zoro's not even taking this seriously, really. You know how I know? No bandana. Without the bandana, Zoro is just like, yeah, no, I can take this guy now. Lucci is going all out. Lucci's gone into his hybrid form. He's a little bit buffer, and he's attacking Zoro and stuff like that. And Zoro's using 3-sword style, to be fair. Zoro is using 3-sword style, and we see a little crack of potential Conqueror's Haki there. But you know, there's no bandana, there's no name moves. I'm sorry, Lucci, you're gonna be down. And Zoro says as much here. He just basically says, you aren't on the level now. Some people are taking this. The gap is so wide, and it's like, yeah, but Rayleigh would say the same thing, Marco. And once again, you can agree. If people want to argue the gap between Luffy and Zoro has gotten a huge since Gear 5th, sure, fine, Danny. And I'm not here to argue or I'm not here to agree or disagree or what have you. I think at this point in the story that Luffy is stronger than Zoro, but this. People, of course, power scalers are taking this comment here and just running wild with it, of course, alongside the next one. But I just like the moment that he goes, and all Yonko commanders, all first mates would say this. Which, by the way, the live action keeps hammering home the idea that Zoro is the first mate. Just accept it. Zoro's the first mate. Not because he's the first to join the crew, because he's the first mate, right? Because some people get that confused and, you know, their own headcanon. No, that's not what makes him the first mate. Anyways, but Zoro is he's just there like, yeah, no, you think with your level of power, I'm going to let you fight my captain? Forget about it. Like, Zoro's got the pride. Zoro's got the pedigree. Zoro's like, we are a Yonko. We were called the 5th Yonko crew before. We were a little bit. We were getting there. We're an upstart. We're a supernova crew, and we're this and we're that. And you know, we got a warlord and 2 supernovas on the team. We got the supposedly called 5th Emperor and stuff. Like we got some pedigree. But now we are officially 100%. We are an Emperor of the Sea, one of the main 4. We are up there with Blackbeard and Shanks and Crocodile. That clown guy. Either way. So yeah, maybe Yonko has lost a little bit of its flair with certain additions. But either way, of course, we all love Buggy as a character. But yeah. So Zoro at this point has basically said, like, he's doing what any Yonko, like Ben Beckman would say, any of them would say. He's gatekeeping. He is officially now a gatekeeper. Like, you really think you're ready for my captain? No. You don't get to the, you know, what did they say? You don't get to jump into the ring and think you box against Muhammad Ali. You know, you gotta earn the right to get in the ring with Ali, or, you know, let's use Rocky or what have you. You know what I mean? So Zoro's got that pride about being, you know, the number 2 of a Yonko crew and stuff like that. And then Lucci confirms it by saying, maybe you're right. And it's like, okay, Lucci might finally have acknowledged. I will not acknowledge him as an emperor. Well, now he is, because he not only says 2 things. One, he says, yeah, no, I can't take him on because he's already fought him. And I think he realizes that, no, I can't beat Luffy. And number 2 is he quite literally says, but beating the number 2 of an emperor just as good. So he's officially gone against 2 of his statements in this arc alone, because he's actually, I refuse to acknowledge Straw Hat as an emperor. I'll beat the number 2 of an emperor. Who's the emperor? Straw Hat. Dang it. You know, so Lucci, foot, mouth. It's hilarious to me. And then the last part of the chapter pretty much goes, Bonnie, Sentomaru saved Bonnie, so Sentomaru stock's rising. Sentomaru saved Bonnie after crashing through the barrier. Told her to go hide, and Sentomaru is looking pretty bad. I'm not really sure if Oda's going to kill off Sentomaru like this, so I doubt it. But still, not looking too good in the current situation. Now, the Vega Punks and stuff are ready to go get Bonnie and stuff like that. They chew out Frankie a little bit, yada yada yada. Either way, that all happens, and Bonnie is doing her best to. She's not sure what to do. Should she run and hide? Should she stay hidden? Should she try to find a way to escape on her own? She's conflicted right now, while they're going down to go out and try to, of course, find him. And once again, there is the Luffy versus Kizaru stuff, which technically there is a clash, if you will. It's a lot of fun. So, because when Kizaru comes back, he turns into a bunch of like light clones, if you will, and stuff like that. And Luffy's like, what? There's so many. And he tries hitting them, and he just faces through them because they're made of light and stuff. And he's like, oh, well then. He's like, and actually, I was wrong. Technically, Luffy does get drawn blood with one of the Amino Murakumo, which of course is the light sword Kizaru uses and stuff like that. And he uses that against Luffy, and he cuts it. I don't think that's the mirror. Is that the mirror, or is that the... No, that is the mirror. Is that the mirror? No, that's supposed to be the sword. That's the Kusanagi blade. I forget which regalia Japan is supposed to be. Anyways, because it'd be weird if it was named after the mirror and it's the sword, but it's the sword and the, you know. Anyways, so yeah, so they do. So he tries attacking them. Of course, the light clones. He phases right through and stuff like that. So then he leads them all up, and then he decides to use a stomping fist with hockey. Obviously, we see the hockey there, and he stomps through all of them. But this was mere a distraction to keep Luffy distracted while Kizaru went down there and is now going after the Vega Punks. We see Brook and Usopp had pulled out his, of course, his... what is it called? A Kabuto, whatever? Is it like the Pokemon name or something like that? But he pulls out his slingshot pretty much, and Nami pulls out her climb attack and stuff like that, and they're like, uh-oh, and Luffy's like, wow, what's Kizaru doing down there and stuff? So now Luffy's sort of like, oh shit, maybe I should stop playing games right now. Like, yes, Gear 5th, I'm funny, I'm hilarious, I'm a Looney Tune, but maybe you should focus a little bit more on helping these guys, Luffy. They are your crew, and he's going after the weaker ones. So Vegapunk goes out with some of the other Vegapunks trying to go forth and rescue Bonnie, of course. Now, he takes a light blast. So Kizaru uses one of his finger point light blasts at, I don't know if it's full power or what have you, but Luffy jumps in front of it, takes it in Gear 5th, and he he flares up and goes, oh, it's hot, it's so hot, and he's like beat red, I'm guessing, like he's burning up because he's taking literally a light beam inside of himself and it's bursting forth from his body. So this might not have been a great attack to take. It doesn't look like he hockeyed himself up. It looks more like the shading there, so maybe he did, hard to say. But either way, yeah, so not a great attack to take. Now here's where, once again, the genius, the Megamind, the impossibly to fathom 500 years in the future genius scientist Vegapunk has made such a blunder. Once again, it keeps coming back to bite us. These stupid authority chips here at the end of the chapter, which of course is the that the Vegapunks are going forth to give the PXs new orders, to override the orders. Apparently they have to be there in person, blah blah blah. I'm done trying to figure out these stupid authority chips because it once again is just a blunder on Vegapunk's part. He's really not that smart. In fact, he's kind of stupid. He's really doesn't have very many redeeming qualities thus far in the story. I really do not like Vegapunk, and this is once again solidifying it because they're like, oh, well, we're the only ones on the island. You know, we have the highest authority of anybody, so absolutely we can make the PXs and then we can escape. Yay! And so they do this thing, and they're like, eradicate all the Marines on the island, go PXs and stuff like that, and everything will be fine because we have the highest authority chip, except for some reason a government that we don't believe in, that we know is corrupt, we decide to give the 5 Hitlers goddamn authority above us. Because, I mean, there is no possible way that the smartest genius 500 years in the future could have maybe, I don't know, told the Gorosei that they had the highest authority chip. And maybe, I don't know, knowing that they were the world government leaders, maybe to not divulge that truth. Which, once again, York probably would have told them anyways, because they shared the brain, and there would have been this whole thing. But still, the fact that he willingly programmed this militia force that's supposed to be able to replace the power of the 7 warlords, and he gave it complete autonomy and gave its direct orders to the world government, Gorosei. And there's no possible way, because I studied the Void Century, and I know all this stuff, but they will never leave the Holy Land. So it's an unfathomable, big news, no possibility that they will ever show up. So yes, we will 100% win this now, because the PXs cannot refuse an order from us. Yeah, so once again, I don't think this week is a great week for manga in general. The Jujutsu Kaisen chapter is honestly, yeah, I can see myself dropping the series over that kind of shit. Not planning on it yet, but I'm teetering. And then this chapter was sort of lackluster with the hype of Luffy versus Kizaru, and it's even in the title. You know, it's not called the Authority Chip or the Gorosei Moves or something. No, it's called Luffy versus Kizaru, and the chapter is more based in them trying to go Vega Punk being pissed off at Frankie and trying to go find, you know what I mean? It's not really Luffy versus Kizaru. I would never name this chapter Luffy versus Kizaru. I just wouldn't. Regardless that we see a few pages of them clashing and a few attacks, that's not Luffy versus Kizaru. I'm sorry. And then the Authority Chip thing keeps coming back to bite us to just prove that Vega Punk has all this pedigree and no merit to earn any of it. You know, we have learned almost nothing since coming to the Fountain of Knowledge Egghead. We have learned very little from this apparently genius guy, Vega Punk. And all we've learned is that he's incredibly naive, stupidly incompetent, and does not think any of his plans through. So, not such a stellar chapter. Not really a bad chapter, just not really good chapter. Certainly not a great chapter. Nothing really here to write home about. That, you know, I like the Luffy stuff and Kizaru stuff. Kizaru was the star of the chapter. Let's just say that Kizaru was the star of the chapter. Him, I don't want to fall into the sea. I loved all that stuff. But the rest of it, not so much. And as I said, this week hasn't been great. Ayakashi Triangle was, well, yeah, no, that was not good. The ending of that wasn't good. JJK, as I said, was not good. And One Piece was mid at best this week. So this week was not hitting. And the Kengan Omega chapter was, actually, that was probably the best one. But it had its little minor problems too. But the Kengan Omega chapter was probably realistically, the only thing that I'll say was a good chapter this week. So yeah. But either way, I'm losing daylight, so that was One Piece chapter 1093, Luffy versus Kizaru. What did you guys think, though? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Once again, did not hate this chapter, did not dislike the chapter, just and I really can't stand this Authority Chip stuff. I don't like the Vega Punks, and I want to get the hell off of Egghead. So don't tell me a chapter title is Luffy versus Kizaru and only have that be 1/3 of the chapter. Like, no, I want to see Luffy versus Kizaru if you're going to name it such. So don't cut away to the Vega Punks that I don't care about when I really want to see, you know, more of that awesome ass Light Admiral. I mean, he's awesome. So let's go. Either way, that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you back here next time on the next piece of One Piece. Later, everybody. Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget.